You are now tuned into the truth frequency.
We are TFR.
Truth Frequency Radio.
When you finally boil it all down, magic is imagination. We are moving into an age of manifestation. Things become actually less material, more ethereal. The golden dawn is when we awaken to this new station of life. What you think becomes real quicker. Regain our imagination, regain our inner child, and let that inner child out.
My name is Frank Castle, founding member of the music group Heist and New York City Neo Shaman. After a serious injury sidelined my career in 2013, I decided to set out on an adventure to search for myself with the help of the plant medicine ayahuasca. What I discovered waiting for me was something I could have never prepared for. It was time for me to become something more, someone more. It was time I became fearless. Shine as my heart beats a rhythm with space and time. When the light starts to shine inside your third eye, you awake to the knowledge that you never die. What is up, everybody? It's Saturday night, and that means it's time to take the journey into becoming fearless. I'm your host, Frank Castle, and I'm here with my co-host, Etherical Translator, Prayer Warrior, Ball of Awesomeness, Paula Milo.
Hey, everybody.
Shout outs to Chris and Cherie Gio each and every week, because if it wasn't for them, we wouldn't be here. We love being part of the family. What's up to everybody in the chat room? Some promotion stuff before we start tonight. If you'd like to, go over to Facebook, sign up or click like on the new Fearless page. It's Fearless TFR. There's a group and the radio station page. We're going to be having those extra deep discussions in the group, and I'd like a place where everyone can go and get their information.
Or ask questions, yeah.
You know, anything that we talk about on the show. I got a few things I like to promote when I talk about certain people and everything. I'll just post it all up in there. And let's see what else. Oh, and Heist Click, HeistClick. I can't believe I forget about the music group every week. Don't forget to check us out online, Amazon, iTunes, SoundCloud, if you want to check it out. And Reverb Nation at Heist Click Music, HeistClick. Show your support. Don't forget to sign up to the Truth Frequency Radio.
TruthFrequencyRadio.com. Sign up.
Yeah, this is listener supported, so, hook a brother up and help us out. And send some love and light to everybody. It's been a rough week. I think all the conversations happened already. I kind of feel not drained, but I'm ready for the next part.
Yeah.
And now we're going back. We're taking a break from what we normally do. Think of this, if it was a comic book, as since we would be at, I think tonight's episode 11.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Wow, that went fast.
Yeah. So it would be a one shot, like a little side story that kind of goes on. We have to skip ahead into the future timeline to the now, because it's all now. Welcome to the now. But we felt that taking a break in the storyline and just discussing stuff today, so we don't go back to a year ago or more. Like, we're almost actually caught up to the story. It's only going to take a few episodes to actually catch us up to the now. Here's my disclaimer. This is my path and my journey. This works for me. It's working for me. Thank you for taking the journey with me, but it's not recommended for each and every person out there. You have to have good mental stability to hold down the fact that there's other dimensions and worlds and reptilians and ETs and everything else under the sun. Remember, there are two roads which human beings can follow, one of wisdom and the other of ignorance. The path of the masses is generally the path of ignorance, which leads them into negative situations, thoughts, and deeds. These in turn lead to ill health and sorrow in life. The other road is based on wisdom, and it leads to health, true happiness, and enlightenment. We are I'm not going to sugarcoat because it looks like those gloves are off. Like the story, oh, yay, look, it's an interesting story, has just turned into, hey, listen, things are coming down the line. Maybe a lot sooner, most likely in our lifetime, definitely in the next 5 years, you know.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if everybody will still be here with us, but you have to start mentally preparing, because this isn't just, I get worried about this stuff. There's a lot of talk in the background about fake alien invasions. I'm going to start here before we get into this week's topics.
Okay.
And they hear Project Blue Beam and all the different things that could happen. I want you guys to know that this show, yes, it's self-help, it's uplifting, it's enlightening, it'll help. We're getting answers from spirits, entities, demiurges, you name it. The help from the creator gods, it goes on and on and on. So we're sharing the information so you use it to help fix you.
Take what you need from the conversation.
But really start putting this into practical use. This isn't fly-by-night Frank saying, hey, you know, we're all hippies now. We should smoke pot and meditate.
Because the shift is already it's already happening. So
Yeah,
we need to
we're
be prepared
already
for
in
certain
this.
things.
So there, and it's fun to think, like already my life is crazy enough as it is. It's going to get very intense. We're going to show you the way that worked for us. I mean, there's a lot of generalizations to some of this, you know, because there's so many personality types.
Yeah.
You have to take with you from the conversation what works for you and use it, and then take from others and fit that in. And the things you don't need, get rid of. The things you need, work on them and take them. This is going to be a trying time for a lot of people, because no matter what I do and say, if an alien actually walked up to me, I might have the fainting goat heart attack syndrome, just like anyone else would. And I'm really trying to. I'm not afraid to talk about any of this stuff. I was a little weirded out at first, but they speak to me like, you have to just let it out. Speak the truth. Speak the truth. They'll understand it. Don't try to like go left and right on them. Don't take them for stupidity.
Yeah, be honest about it.
If the masses, I just read you something, and the masses prefer to be asleep, this is your chance not to be asleep. Don't worry about the masses. You have to worry about you. Individual people, and then it'll collectively spread.
Yeah.
Right?
Take care of yourself.
Yeah,
Take
you
care of
have
yourself.
to learn super amounts of discernment. Things that come down the pipe with this Project Blue Beam and using HARP and the voice of God technology. This that we've been talking about this for years, on and on, about the projection of the God you follow in the air telling you to unite as one world, and then being attacked by UFOs. They could project all this stuff. Let's stop pretending they can't. They're not working with just humans. I can't understand. Like, people challenge me. How do you get your information from? We go directly to source, and we get the information right from who's watching. Like, it's not like I'm not John Connor, and this isn't the broadcast for the Terminator series. Each and every one of you has to John Connor it up now. Like, you get the call, you hear it. I get attacked a lot on the the religious stuff. That's like a constant. I'm trying not to jump ahead. I'm very kind of excited because I had an interview yesterday. I spoke for 3 hours straight.
Yeah, it was a good interview, too.
Yeah, it was very intense what's been going on around me. And I just want to share that although we uplift, you have to prepare for anything that is going to be totally weird and out of the ordinary, because it's going to confuse you. If you're still worried about Trump and Hillary, if an alien lands, you're going to be out of luck with your information if you're getting it from wherever, Fox or MSN. Or it's time to make sure you got fresh water, make sure you got fresh food, discernment galore. You could align your chakras and everything, all that. You better start meditating, ask for protection. This isn't, I'm never going to play the fear porn on you guys, ever. But, you know, you have to be afraid or have fear Like, I still won't go in the water if there's a shark, but you
Well,
won't find
yeah.
me in the water, so I'm
Yeah.
not afraid of it anymore, but I won't go in it. Right? I won't go
it's
swim
also
with
a
it.
healthy respect.
Yeah, a
too.
healthy respect for it. We need healthy respect again for everything. You just stop fighting about who's coming here and doing what. Some people, I guess, are meant to fight that fight, but don't be blind to the big picture at all. I watch the front lines sometimes, and we're team human. So yelling at me and screaming, Bernie Sanders or something, doesn't get you any further in life. Things like, we were discussing this again, flat earth, and how it honestly, right at this moment, I know we all want the information, right? Everybody wants that
Oh,
information.
the big debate. Flat
Yeah.
Earth, round Earth, yeah.
But there's so much more important. It doesn't affect you in the morning when you wake up
no,
if it's
there's-
flat or not.
There's no action to be taken.
So
It's-
you will not connect with another entity being human or what a soul, with you shutting down and creating borders around yourself of stupidity. You know, you guys are creating these borders within yourself. Like, nope, I can't be part of this. Nope, can't be part of that. But it's the people that would do this, someone like me, that would have the information, willing to share it with you. We understand what's going on. One man or one woman is not the answer anymore. Please understand that. We have to start getting this through our thick heads. Say it to yourself 3 times. Say it 10 times. Every day, wake up, say some good things. But know down deep inside, you have to protect the ones you love and care about. I'm not telling you to arm up and do all kinds of crazy stuff. I'm just letting you know that all fingers are pointing into these weird biblical directions that, to me, it's all written by man. It's all prophecy, man written. So you have a group following, making that look like it's coming to life every now and then to stir the pot. Mm-hmm. The reality is, that's just the act. That's the staged theater act. There's way more than UFOs. There is life everywhere. Everywhere. I can't stress to you that you are a creator. You come from source, the white light, not God. You could call him God, I guess. I mean, if you're not hurting anybody, it's
No,
not
you're
hurting
not
you.
hurting anybody.
Just you can't give your energy away. You talk to source inward, not outward. Outward, something else will answer you. And you'll be like, well, he answered me. Yeah, well, I guarantee that one wants something from you. I make jokes all the time because people will come to me, and I want to welcome your questions all the time. This is another thing. If you guys have questions, because I keep getting questions, how do you know this and what do you know that? Look, ask me the question. Don't be a dick about things. Just be polite. Let's keep the conversation up and going. Anything on the table.
Yeah, nothing's off limits, but you have to maintain an open mind. And you have to stay with an open mind when you're hearing some of this information because it sounds unreal. It sounds ridiculous. It sounds unreal. It sounds made up. But it's all true.
You know there's giants.
The human race is not the only race that inhabited this planet.
And we've been around. All right, there was a corruption about maybe 100, 200,000 years, somewhere in there with Atlantis being around. And all. When that all ended, it's like shattering everything, right? And then washing it clean.
It's starting over, yeah.
It's starting over. So now you're taught differently. Don't let them know who they are, creators and whatnot, and the true power within you. Keep them as slaves. We're slaves to everything, down to the you think you have a choice sometimes, and you're just choosing within the box still. No more choosing in the box. We had a whole episode, sections on the show where I talk about just saying no.
Yeah, just say no.
You have to start implementing this stuff immediately.
Or if you're not sure, use discernment. Don't make any decision.
In making no decision, but being confident in the no decision, so you can come back at a later time.
With more information.
Sometimes you need to sleep on it.
Yeah.
Meditate on it. A lot of times around the path headed towards the answer, it'll take you the wrong way back to the right way. It's like you have to think the wrong thought to get back on track. Like, no, this can't be possible. Mm-hmm. No, that's not right. Let's go back to here. You're in a place where everything is possible. We can create the future we want we can take the power back from these animals that are in these seats of control. I was reading an article, and I'm not going to get too much into this, but I hate pedophiles. I hate anything when you hurt a child. I don't ever want to hear about it because it's disgusting. But you have government workers coming out saying, like the psychiatric characters saying, well, it's more of a sexual thing, not a sexual thing. It's it's an okay sexual thing because the thought doesn't come from actually harming the child. So it's it's all right. It's been around for a long time, and
It's horrifying.
I want you guys to see who is in charge. When I tell you over and over, when you go to the Catholic Church and they tell you, eat my body, drink my blood, you're participating in the ritual. That's all aspects across the board. I harp on the Catholics and the Christians and all that. If you're a good person, stay a good person. You don't have to believe what I believe, but the truth is the truth. So you have to remain open-minded. People want to beat you over the head all day with Jesus Christ. Do you know that actually, and I'm not going to get into whether he was real or not, but that actually puts you in a box. Well, Jesus. Like, you don't even know if this guy was real, and you're going on about him all day. But you know what? If it's good, it's good, but you don't be so close-minded. There's more than Jesus out there. Way more than that. These external characters hold way too much weight.
Were played out in history many, many times before Jesus' time. And history does truly repeat itself.
It's almost like remaking a movie, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, do they make remakes because the movie's old? And you're like, why'd you remake that? It's not even that. It's history's repeating. It's retelling the story for the next generation. But these scumbags that are in charge have corrupted the narrative. That's why we're here. TruthFrequencyRadio.com. FearLess. All right. This is what happened to me this week. I was in a state of complete anger and disarray. I had some issues that went on. I'm dealing with medical issues as well as, you want to help more sometimes the people that are injured around you. So there's a lot of stress involved. I have a lot of elderly people around me. And, all right, I went out into the yard and was working off some of the anger by fixing certain things just around the house, trying to help my mother out. Everyone came out into the backyard, and sometimes it gets really hectic, and I had to separate myself from
the craziness.
The craziness. There's this vibration that people give off when they want to do too much, or they're like, I need your help with this, and then they do everything themselves anyway, and
they just want you to be there with them, basically, while they're complaining about doing what they're doing.
Yeah, and that nobody helps them. So I was cleaning a fan, and while my mother was speaking to me, a woman appeared.
This happens to you all the time. So this is nothing new or nothing new for Frank at all. This happens all of the time.
So
entities appear during
just
very strange situations.
It could be any time. And anytime you're like in the shower too, that's another weird place. Something with the water conducts
it happens to you all the time.
Okay, so I was really, really angry. And I was just working, and I have a pretty good sense. Like when I close my eyes, I'll try to tell you what it looks like inside my movie screen. It actually looks like open space, and almost like some kind of, it's flowing inward towards my mouth, my lower jaw. Like it's all open space. Like when I close my eyes, it doesn't feel like I'm locked inside. It feels like I am open
pushing
now.
Outward.
Yes, and there's like a flow that comes inward, and they call that space the manifestation area. That's where you speak into your spell casting into reality. The breath, the word of God spoke, and everything existed. You are actually from source. When you speak, if you were to see what comes out of your mouth, like your soul doesn't speak like that. It goes telepathy style. It could read you certain ways and everything. But when you're in the human body, you're reading a whole. It's just a whole new thing.
It's like you're speaking into the ether.
Yes, that's exactly what it's like. in that space,
why
you should
I'm
be
here.
controlled. But what winds up happening is people's movie screens are corrupted. It's got to get the kids to school, got to do this over here. I'm so stressed about money.
Yeah,
blah, blah, blah,
the
blah, blah, blah.
10,000 things you have to do before the day is over.
Right. So the movie screen is running fast, and there's all kinds of stuff, and it's
Yeah,
like so hard
yeah.
to concentrate. I fortunately have the ability to drop that down a notch.
Yeah, you slow it down. You can make it. You can actually
so much
slow
practice,
it down.
so much practice. But what happens is it's like you unlock it, and then you're in control. You have to want to be in control, but your control is over you. It's not over anything else, right? This is how control works.
And by the way, this is happening. This is no psychedelics. This is
Nothing.
nothing ridiculous. This is nothing ridiculous. This is just sitting in the yard in the sun.
Yeah, well, I'm going to get to why this happens and, how everything happens now, because that was one of the questions. Like, how do you get your info? How do you do this?
No,
What
I
have
just
you
don't
done?
want people on the air to think that every time you talk about dealing with entities,
Oh, yeah.
that it's through a psychedelic. That this
Yeah, I don't
happens
always
to
do
you normally
psychedelics.
now.
I still have, you can count on hands and toes, the ayahuasca
experience.
experience,
Yeah,
and on like two,
Yeah.
maybe three, 2 hands and a foot, how many times I've done DMT.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's really it.
No,
And
I just want to clear that up because I don't want people to think every time that you run into an entity or speak to a deity, you're
the idea
under
is,
the
is to
psychedelic
become
influence.
open. Well, I'm going to do an episode on pre-ayahuasca because there were experiences where you're open, and now doing ayahuasca, you could see how that affected you your whole life. Little experiences,
Yeah, absolutely.
dreams,
Yeah,
things
because
that have
you've
come
had
to you.
experiences all throughout your life, way before
Dead
any
relatives visit
psychedelic.
me.
Yeah. Mhm.
It's always quite the interesting. It's not sad in any way. I'm never like, oh my God, you're there. No, like,
No,
I never do anything like
I
that.
think it's informative. I think it
So,
prepares you for what's coming.
It does. Well, one of the things in speaking with a past person, somebody who just passed, they kind of can just move into your space, whereas other things kind of approach you. They don't like wrap around you instantly or step directly into where your personal space is. But some entities, crossing spirits, that just show right up,
Sure.
get right involved. So this lady says, she was wearing a blue, light blue, like a baby blue, one piece that the old Italians wear.
Oh,
with
the house
white
dress, the house
flowers
coat. Yeah, the house
everywhere.
coat. Yeah.
Yeah, it was like a one gown, and it's it has like the tank. It's the tank top.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so she shows up, but she's from the waist up, and she looks right at me, and I'm angry, so I'm scrubbing the fan, and I look up, and I'm like, oh, and she goes, oh my, you're so angry. Why are you so angry, Frankie? Frankie, tell me why you so angry. And I went, I know you, don't I? And her face, something about her face, I don't know. It was family.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, like, now that could happen to someone who's not dead, by the way. Like, you could be dreaming or meditating over there and visit someone the same way.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So
all the
death
time.
is a relative term to what you're discussing, I guess. So she goes, you really shouldn't be so angry. She was so expressive. And I said, yeah, maybe you could back up just a little bit. Because she was right here, his personal space. So my mother was like, what are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? And I had to be like, all right, you be quiet so I can handle
finish
my
the
business,
conversation.
because I couldn't. It sounded like at one point two people,
We're talking to you at the same time.
yelling
Yeah.
in one ear, yelling in the
Yeah.
other. Bang, bang, bang. And I was like, all right, shut up. And then I looked, and my mother she was, oh, this kid walks out. I'm like, 40 years old, still this kid. So I look over and I go, hey, like, I'm angry. What do you want me to do? Maybe you should mind your business, blah, blah, blah. And she's like, oh, this, Frankie, I'm telling you, just don't be that angry, okay? And I'm like, oh, okay, great. See you later. Now, that's what happened.
But she did look familiar to you.
Super familiar. Family. I
Yeah.
was like, she knows me, Frankie, right? So I'm like, who is that person? Oh, well, that's kind of nice. I'm not going to be as angry at the moment. I walk over to my phone, and there's a message from my aunt. And she's in Florida, and it's my father's side of the family. And she calls and says, your great aunt passed away, Aunt Franny, and she was devastated that she couldn't come up here to be part of any of it, the funeral, the wake, anything. And she was going on and on and on a message. And I was just staring at my phone after having it on speakerphone, like, you gotta be kidding me.
Well, sure, it made sense now.
Are you serious? This has happened a couple of times.
So your great aunt came to see you and was asking you why you're so angry.
As soon as I heard the name,
you remembered.
I went, oh my God, lowercase g. That I can't believe this goes on, but I can believe it. So this kind of consumes me a little bit, kind of background running, because I'm angry, but how do you hold on to anger when... All right.
When your dead relative came to see,
I know that's weird.
to tell you not to be angry.
And let me tell you, she was fine. She looked great. She smelled great.
Well, you remember them at the. I think you remember the people who passed in the best light, or the way they made you the happiest when you were younger, when you were a child.
Yes, I believe that. You guys are going to hear way more stories about how interesting the other side is when your relatives come visit you, and how they're happy. I haven't seen one unhappy.
Well, there's only one emotion on the other side.
Do you know one of my friends passed and visited me and said it's all real, just like you said it was, and he was excited. All right, well, when we come back, we'll talk more and see who pays us a visit next time.
TruthFrequencyRadio.com. Sign up.
Just to free my mind. I hope to find another day what I've lost before. I'm trying to find my second wind so I can think some more. Don't try to tell me how it is or what can't be done.
Real Politics with Professor James Tracy. Mondays on Truth Frequency Radio.
Am I awake or is this a dream? A fantasy where I'd rather be. So come and talk with me. Come and walk with me. Is this a wake-up call from my reality? Have you seen my friends? Have you seen my girl? Wake me up from this. I'm trapped in this world. Thought you were alive until you felt my pain. The circus in my
Who will you be? Who will you become in what's coming and what's going to happen? Who are you going to be? Will you be uplifted, aware, full of discernment, as they say in the Bronx, come correct?
Or will you not even notice anything's happening? And in that case, that's okay too. This is a wake-up call. This is the shift that's been happening. It's a state of consciousness, a different way of living, a different way of seeing things. Reprogramming yourself from years and years and years of being told to do things a certain way.
The ways of the old thought are gone. They're going. Get rid of them. It's not working anymore. We keep what's good, drop everything else, move on. Work on attachments. I'm just slinging things at you guys. It's only an hour a week. I could go on for hours.
Yeah.
Right? I could literally just rant and rant. I'm a little off my rant tonight as well.
We had 3 separate conversations today. It was
for hours. They weren't even.
Yeah. Three separate conversations. It was almost 3 hours of information. Just over cooking.
Yeah. So, all right. Here's a good thing. The people that have gotten in touch with me and reached out, had questions, touched base. It's great because I learn from you guys.
Oh, absolutely.
Right? I hear things and I go, oh, okay, you're slightly off with this, but I didn't know this at all. Yeah. Oh, you didn't know this? Here's a book on it. Or here's a link to a page. So that stuff's really important. Which reminds me, I read a book recently, Understanding Our True Story, The First Step Towards Full Self-Healing. Right? It's Arena Adriani. Right? So go to fullselfhealing.com and check this book out, right? It's an ebook. It's 100 and change, right? 40 pages maybe. It's exactly what we discuss on the show.
Yeah.
Not coming from someone who's ayahuasca blasted or this. Like, I'm finding the people that have scientifically proven to themselves, gone out, and I've met scientists, doctors, all in kind of different important people, all of a sudden switching gears and getting it correct from these different perspectives.
Too, yeah, and different modalities. Like, that's why I started before. This experience that Frank had this whole week had nothing to do with psychedelics. So this is just something that he's tapping into on his own, which is my experience. I honestly only tried the psychedelic so that I wouldn't be a hypocrite when we were having conversations.
Right.
Because I'm coming from a different modality of doing things.
You know, it was wild, though. I remember looking at you right when it was known that, like, oh, this could happen, right? Like the psychedelic experience. And it was like another avenue, another venue for you that you never really considered it.
No, never considered it.
It lit you up. Like, it was very surprising to see the sparkle in your eye like that. Because it's like, okay, we've done this. Great. This is good. I'm thankful. But what is this?
Well, it is a plant medicine. I mean, it does heal you. I mean, it knows you drink the ayahuasca and it knows what your body or your mind needs, and that's what it heals. And it's not only the act, the ceremony, it's what happens in the days to come.
Oh my, that's when it's the best.
The information that you get, your brain is like a computer. You get these downloads that last for almost a month.
The 28th day, you wake up and say,
I got it. Yeah,
my.
all the pieces.
Everything you couldn't remember. Like, look, you go there, you see the things. That's great. That's good. It's awesome. But when you come back, your brain needs time to process that.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And everyone is different. I mean, everyone's experience is different as well. I didn't do it so that I could go and talk to entities and see things that were surreal.
I mean, that's scary
it
within itself.
To fix what I needed to fix within myself. But we're not talking about that, not this episode. We're not talking about me this episode. We're talking about what happened. So now you're still in the yard. You just realized that your great aunt who passed away came to see you to give you a message not to be so angry.
Yes. And that was actually the only message. It was like having, I don't know how other cultures do it, but a nonna.
Well, that's what she,
hey, nonna. Hey, oi, right? So it was like that. It was just the way we're sitting next to each other.
Yeah, she came to you just like this.
And I was like, oh, damn. Okay. Well, I was still angry. I'm not going to lie. So we're going to jump ahead to yesterday. Yesterday, I was on a show, a friend of mine. I did a 3-hour interview. It wasn't even an interview. It was like we do the show together and we just talk about everything. His name is Salty. It's Salty Talk Radio. I would suggest you check him out. I used to be part of, I still am family to Raz Radio, and you guys should check out Raz Radio. Lots of good people on the station, lots of good talent.
Metaphysical conversation.
Here's the thing, not metaphysical conversation.
Oh, not metaphysical.
These guys are more, and I'm not going to just peg them, but I'm not calling my friends conspiracy theorists, right? I call my man Sean Raz. I did the song for the show. It's conspiracy fact. When he throws it down the way he does, the conversation's open. Right. It's like, look, 9/11, we know something happened. We want to get who's in charge, whether we argue if planes hit the buildings or the thing was melted or thermite, whatever. We shouldn't be battling on those fronts. We should be discussing it, yes, because it's open conversation. But the fact of the matter is what happened. And now we're arguing over the explosion type when we should be arresting people.
Yeah, who did it? Who wanted it done?
So
and why?
We're all really on the same side. Okay, so Salty's an awesome guy.
Yeah, you've been friends for a while, right?
A couple of years. Now, I go to RazFest 2 years ago, 3 years ago. I think it was 3 years ago. And I go to Tampa Bay, and there's sharks in the water. right where we're staying. It's gorgeous, but it's murky. It was raining the day before. I'm deathly afraid of sharks. I'm deathly afraid of the water, but I used to be a lifeguard, but for pools, I'm like, I don't need to swim in the ocean. That's like putting your G.I. Joe in the fish tank and going, come get me. Dun, dun, dun. Dun, 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 dun. Okay, so it's weird now, but not for me to come back on one of the old shows, which they're not old shows. They're up and running, and they're awesome.
Yeah, but to appear as a guest
to appear as a guest on the show with the new change in my reality.
Right.
Now, they have witnessed some of it, but Salty and I, we had a moment. We make jokes on the show, and in person, we're like, I love you, no homo. We do that. But honestly, we looked directly into each other's eyes. We met. We were like, oh, my God, this is an awesome, like, instant bond we had.
Yeah. We
hung out, and then he took me out in the water. While I was out in the water, up to my neck.
In shark-infested water.
And people were on the shore yelling, yo, there's sharks in that water. Get out. And I laid back, and he had his hands under my head so I could just float.
Yeah.
And something happened to me. Something broke.
And this is a couple of years ago.
Yeah. This was before ayahuasca.
Right.
But I faced my biggest fear with, Salty is a big guy, with a big buddy and other people that swore up and down they had no fear of the water, blah, blah, blah. We're in the water a little bit, and everyone was looking around like it was a Jaws movie and we had to get across the lagoon. Mm-hmm. But me and Salty...
Yeah, you weren't worried.
Nothing. It felt to me like a baptism. And I dunked my head, and when I reopened, I was like, oh, I can do anything. See, the trick is you have to remember who you are, but you want to trick yourself. Believe that you're the creator. I am the creator. Not the creator, I'm in control of this. Not that.
No, you create your reality.
I am the creator. It's a co-created reality.
The creator of your own life.
Yeah.
You
So
are.
I am creator. I am source. I can do anything. I could manifest at will.
You can.
Okay.
You can. Anything. Good, bad. You can manifest crap if that's what you want to manifest.
Yeah, if that's what you want to.
If that's where your head is at.
If
Yeah,
you have
are.
this
You create
underlying
your own life.
This underlying vibration in the background where you're like really negative towards yourself, like a self-hater. I know a lot of us are self-haters, right? You can kick your ass, but don't keep kicking it while you're down and staying in that vibration. You learn from your mistake and move on. You don't need to confess your sins that way. If you need to talk to someone, just talk to them.
But let it go.
Let it go.
Let it go. You don't need the memory. Let it go.
Yeah. Cry it out, hug it out.
Yeah, move on.
And move on. Yes, sometimes we wish things could go a different way or whatever, but you know what? In an alternate reality, in a different place,
it
in
is
one of your
going on that
fractals,
way.
it actually does. At that split moment when you make that decision, it actually goes on. Okay, so I go back to Salty's show. I didn't know how to approach my friend. I hadn't been on the show in a year and a half, but we're in constant online contact.
And you've grown so much in this last year with spiritually and
I
with
mean,
the metaphysical
I used to be more of the, hey, I'm a rock star. Like,
yeah.
I still had all this stuff in me, but there was a driving force in me to get my music. For 20 years, I've been doing it. And I just recently, when Burns quit the group last year, I'm out. Right after the big tour and everything, he hung on until the new year and then was like, yo, I quit. And I had to take a back seat for a minute. And during that back seat, I was going through this process. Now I'm back on the radio and I feel weird.
Because you don't know what to talk about.
I love some of Salty's. You know what? I love everyone. But there are certain guys I know, like Buzzy. I love Buzzy. I talked to another guy that was on the show. He was really cool. Then I also get, because there's a lot of real Americans that listen to Salty's show. So I could sound like complete horseshit to these people. This dude's on crack. Jesus Christ rules. Come on, get a shotgun and get in the car. But they're all good fucking people.
Yeah.
And they discuss these political agendas stuff all day, and it's not really conspiracy. It's like awesome open talk, and he gets to rant. It's his show, and it's really good stuff. But how do I fit in this without becoming a target? Like, I'm going down that road because I was angry. And all they tell me, and when I say they, it's the spirits and everything.
Yeah, the entities that
okay.
Talk with you.
Yeah, they just talk with me. They're like, talk the truth.
Yeah.
Talk the truth. If you want to be
Speak your
angry, talk it angry. But talk the truth.
Mm-hmm.
Don't talk it at people. Talk it with, make it something I do incorporates us to talk together.
Yeah.
Like I make it acceptable to let you know we're all in this. I'm not bigger than you. I'm not Rockstar. You know what? You're me, I'm you. We're all Rockstar. That's even better because then everybody's awesome.
Yeah.
I look at this like we're all X-Men and each one of us has a power and has to connect to the other one to understand each other's power and then take that knowledge, and pass on more knowledge in the other directions into the spider web.
But you just described the shift. That's the shift.
Absolutely.
People waking up one by one, questioning things, noticing that they're more aware of their consciousness, and talking about it with like-minded people.
That's the important part.
It.
You can have weird experiences. I have friends, or had friends. Well, I talk to my brother about everything. We have the best conversations, right? About the most ridiculous to the craziest ever.
Well, even your talk with Salty, it was a very metaphysical conversation you had.
Okay, so Salty tells me, like you said, you thought it was going to be about the music.
Yeah, I thought you were going to talk about music. I thought you were going to talk about conspiracy theory. I had no idea you were going to be. I
can't do that anymore. I can hang out with you and we could talk politics, weird stuff. I'm not part of it. I don't want part of it. I really don't enjoy the agendas. I know I'm aware of things, and yes, you need to discuss them, but I don't know if you want to hear me say that and go through each layer one by one by one. That's kind of annoying to me because we're going to the heart of the problem to disrupt all right, if there's a home base, right, for the enemy.
You don't want to give it energy. Yeah.
We're not giving it any energy, but I got to go get to the inside of that place, the heist, and I got to let everyone know what's going on.
Yeah.
So
come on.
Where I could be more relaxed. I was hesitant because I didn't want people to hate me or think Frank went too many mushrooms in the corner. As a matter of fact, Josh, you wrote Frank did too many mushrooms and was sitting with something. And I'm like, one guy called me the devil. A guy calls into the show and says his name's Marduk.
Marduk.
Marduk?
The one of the heirs of the Anunnaki.
I go into blasting information right up front about the Bible, the this, the that. And I know I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings, but I'm sorry I just cursed. I just ranted, and then he said, yo, just let it out. And then all I heard was, talk your truth. And Salty, come on, man, tell us. I want to hear that.
Yeah, that's your higher self telling you keep on going. And you said he loved it. He wanted to hear it.
I was ranting off after ranting after ranting. So this guy, Marduk, calls in on an unknown Skype line and tells me,
he says he's Marduk.
He's a clown, but he tells me, why are you telling these guys that? Why are you saying this? We talked about this. You're not supposed to talk to these people about that. So that interested me within itself, even if the guy's a clown and playing it up. Because Salty, I don't give those guys credibilities when they call and do stuff like that. But he instantly instigates it a little bit to find out, and then we just hang up on the guy. And I'm thinking, people are doing that. And that's how it kind of throws a turd in the punch bowl.
Sure, because they're trying to discredit you.
Yeah, Frank and his reptilians, even Salty said to me, yo, man, I'm with you like 100% and then 90%. And then I'm like, oh, he just went reptilian overlords or something, or Anunnaki.
Yeah, so you lost another one. He's right over the edge.
He's like, I'm with you, but it's I don't want to lock out any single human being from understanding, at least hearing a perspective like mine, and then draw from it what you can. Some people kind of just attacked me, and this is where it went. Where the hell are you getting your information from?
The internet.
right?
Because it's all true. No, multiple sources. The information comes from multiple sources.
We had this on Chris and Cherie's show once, where how are you a shaman? Do you have a shaman before you that's teaching you? And I'm like, I'm learning
as I go.
No, but I'm learning from the deities.
Right.
I'm not learning from another shaman. Like me and Chris share. I openly discuss everything with him, Cherie, you.
Yeah, absolutely.
My mother to a degree, which is really weird.
Yeah,
I tell my
cool about
brother,
that stuff.
and he's like, well, you got a valid point, and it looks to me like you believe everything you're saying. So you don't look crazy, but the things that are coming out of your mouth, I go, are anything less short than us having a conversation about X-Men and the four horsemen of the apocalypse and blah, blah, blah. You know, those guys are all guys that I've seen and talked to, and those are just twisted versions of the characters.
Yeah.
We were just listening to the Pleiadian Barbara.
Oh, Barbara Marciniak, yeah,
Marciniak.
the representative of the Pleiadians.
It's coming.
Again, she's a woman just sharing her information. The Pleiadians are letting people on this planet know what's going on. They need us to survive. Other races. They need us to survive.
Their ascension relies on us ascending as well, because you can't, just like in the army, no one left behind.
Yeah.
They can't mess with you and then bounce on you and never show back up. It's not allowed. If you're part of that creation process in any way, shape, or form, or if you're connected to that
genetically,
there you go, the DNA and stuff, then you have to. That's your responsibility.
Yeah, they need us to survive.
Once again, self-responsibility. Even they have it. They have it to pounds and pounds on their head. I go, how do you? When you see what they do, you'll go, I want no part in that. It's awesome.
So get into the good stuff. Come on.
All right. So
you had a great radio. You had a great interview on the radio. You got to talk your metaphysical stuff.
Salty asked me to come back on. I guess once in a while.
That's awesome.
We were calling it the irregular hour.
Yeah,
right.
wow.
So I'll come on and rant, but the rants have been coming out. They just come out. I know where it's coming from. I know that the higher self is just sitting right into the seat.
Yeah, just pouring information down.
Because afterwards, it's like we slowly, the energy just comes down, and it's like, oh, now I'm myself again.
Yeah.
And it's like, wow. It gets weird, though. I start to feel puppetry in motion, but I realize that I am my puppet master.
No, it's you, because I've seen your energy change. And your cat actually picks up your energy. My
cat's an absolute weirdo. It's the best.
Well, he's just like you. So, but I mean that in a loving way. But I've seen your cat's energy. I've seen his energy change when you're going on a rant or talking about something or very passionate about something. He gets passionate. He gets excited. He runs around like a lunatic. So I've seen it. So you have the show.
This is what I do after the show. We're going to jump now to today.
Okay.
I'm still angry.
Yes.
Right? It's been fueling my rants, my raves. I've been constantly listening to mantras, Om Nah Shiva, 108 times, letting it open me up. And I'm like, hey, man, you got to get this out of here. So today I go, the sun breaks through the clouds. I sit outside. I'm going to break a few storylines here because it's going to turn into origin stories eventually. So I'm just letting it out of the bag at the last 6 minutes of the show. I speak directly every single day to Ra, the sun god, the eagle-headed Egyptian deity, and Shiva,
the destroyer, who's a really sweet entity.
He's the best ever. He's the blue multi-armed being that has the red crystal on his head. He's really like boyishly.
Yeah, he's Indian deity.
Yes, and I didn't know he existed, but we're going to get into that story very soon.
Yeah, we'll get into the origins of how these entities were introduced to you.
And I went and I sat outside and I said, I can't no more. I can't take the stress and the pressure. I wanted to cry it out, but I just couldn't do it. I'm smoking a joint on the back porch, like, ugh. Now, if you could picture me doing this, it's got to be the weirdest thing if you're one of my neighbors and look over and you see me
Sure, because you're talking to the air. Yeah.
But Ra appears to me. Now, Ra and I have a special agreement. He has stepped in where my father has stepped out, as long as I honor my grandfather, Frank.
And honor yourself as well.
Oh, yes, of course.
As long as you speak your truth, he'll be with you.
So, but he is like a protective dad. Like, he rolls up and, like, he's like, what is happening? What are you doing? Like a dad would. Then Shiva rolls up, left side of my body. And the two of them are staring at me. And Ra says, oh, my son. And I looked at him and I was like, my son? All right. That made me feel good. He's like, I really enjoy the way you respectfully say hello every day. And, the way you've been taking care of yourself and helping others. That's really good. Like, they're very dry sometimes. They're like, yes, it's good.
Yes,
and I'm like, you can say awesome. And they're like, but they don't do that.
They're very sweet with you.
And he has a bird's and eagle's head. And you could see the smile and emanate light. And I go, oh my, thank you so much, Father. I love you. And then this is where havoc. I have a girl ego to the left of me and a man ego to the right of me. The girl ego loves to run up to Rod, just jump on him and say, I love you, Dad, and grab him. You're not supposed to just grab anyone or do anything like that, so I get punished every time. I get like the smack. Keep that chick in check, right? But I get the slap. So I grab her by the head and I say, come over here. And she hugs me this time instead of him. And then my other ego runs to my side and I hold him and Ra embraces us. While that's going on, Shiva looks over at me and says, you have become an excellent student, and I am so proud of you, and it's amazing to see you here with your father. And energy hit me from him that was like, oh my goodness.
Sure, it's like a video game power-up.
So the two of them start complimenting me back and forth and back and forth and back and forth, and I go, what's going on? So I immediately go to, Shiva has multiple arms, so I always high-five him. So I go to high-five him, and he won't let me touch him, and he jumps back. And that Shiva with the tongue out, the scary-looking one, just the head stays, and a Buddha body forms around it, little fat body, and starts blowing smoke directly into my face. It was really hot, disgusting, sticky outside.
Was it white smoke?
White, bright white smoke, thick. And I was trying to do my stretches for my neck and my back, and I'm like, what's happening to me? And he's like, breathe. And the body of this little deity who was rotating around me, blowing
like
this
6
smoke.
inches. You're waving your hands.
And I'm like, oh,
inch.
this is awesome. And I'm almost doing a Tai Chi stretch in the dead sun. The clouds parted. The sun was hitting me. This went on for a while. I was able to do a 15-minute Om Nah Shiva into just pure binaural beats. That was keeping the image hard and alive around me.
While ingesting this white smoke. That's amazing.
And I couldn't breathe because I had a cigarette and then I'm doing this. And they were like, yo, you got to stop smoking. We don't like that you smoke, blah, blah, blah. And then I said, you know what? I need love. And it looked like the Mother Mary.
The Blessed Mother.
The Blessed Mother. And I don't believe in the religion, but as she got closer, it was her. She was wearing the blue with the white. And she had her face, like the thing over her head, the veil, and her face wasn't covered. She came right up to me and I went, oh my, it's the goddess Isis. And she said, Creator, man who walks in all worlds, I love you. She twirled around me and it was like she like wrapped into my essence. And we twined like that for a few minutes during the meditation. My anger completely broke. We're going to talk more about this next week. True Frequency Radio.
Your protection.
From deception. Thanks, guys. We love you. Love and light to everybody. And don't forget, do your mantras and do your meditations. Love yous.